very excited about TNA coming to Full Sail. Fans can expect chaos.
Oh my God! That's Mance Warner!
You followed old Mancer. You know what I bring to the table. I will use my fist and I will headbutt you, I'll bite your nose off, and stomp you into the dirt. That's our company now. Ain't no one gonna stop us there.
If you are creative, if you have ideas, if you know who you are, you can succeed in TNA.
This TNA person against this NXT person, it's fun for the fans, it's fun for the workers, it's fun for everyone in the industry.
So I was like, all right, how do I make this as unique, as interesting as possible? And that's obviously where the bangs and the teeth gems and the face tattoo and all that stuff came into play. When she brings it, I can bring it back. Creates for a lot more realism in wrestling. You know, right here, I can say within the next 12 months, I believe that I will be holding another championship in TNA.
When people look at TNA, I want them to go, yeah, that's where Mance and Steph are.
Rewind, recap, relive. Woo! That's what the world is watching.
My guest today recently shocked the world, ending suspicion as to who 23 was, ushering in the Mancer De Lander era. None other than the Southern Psycho, Mance Warner, and TNA Digital Media Champion, SDL herself, Steph De Lander. How are you guys?
Good.
Good. How are you?
Doing good. I'm really happy to have you guys on. It couldn't come at a better time, and I really want to get into what fans can expect from the Mancer De Lander era. Perfect place to start with that is TNA going back to Full Sail University February 20th and 21st. And I'm curious what the Orlando fans can expect when you guys get in there.
Well, I mean, we live like literally 6 minutes away. So personally, we're very excited about TNA coming to Full Sail. I think what fans can expect is chaos, as always. I mean, I think since I re-debuted and since Mance arrived in TNA, it's been very chaotic. There's brawls happening all over the arena. I think Sami Calahan is a madman. I think Mance is more of a madman. So I think the two of them running into each other in TNA is definitely interesting. So yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of violence.
I mean, let's be honest here. Everyone knows if you followed old Mancer, you know what I bring to the table. I will get in a ring with weapons. If they take all my weapons at the security checkpoint at the building, I will use my fist and I will headbutt you, I'll bite your nose off, and stomp you into the dirt. I love it. The fans out there, I mean, they've been going to NXT religiously every week. They're watching it. But them saying fans, you'll hear them chant TNA. So we all know that these fans are excited to be in the crowd watching TNA out there. We're bringing two companies into the same area. That always means there's going to be chaos, violence, and fights. Everyone knows the parking lot of Full Sail is never safe. There's always something that happens out there.
It's a deadly place to be, yeah. Gotta have head on the swivel. Well, that's awesome. And Mance, for you, I mean, you just, like I said, made that shocking debut in TNA. Can you take us into what's happening in your mind when the lights are out and you're getting ready to take out Sami Calahan?
Steph knows this. There's something that happens in my head when I know I'm getting ready to go out there. If it's at the curtain, if I'm running from the parking lot, if I'm coming in through the darkness into the ring to beat on Sami Calahan, I go to a different place. All I'm thinking is violence, pay window, and inflicting pain. So when them lights came on and I jumped on Sami there, I loved it. I'm debuting at TNA, a place that I grew up watching. It's a platform that I could come into. That's our company now. Ain't no one gonna stop us there. You've just seen, you've had a taste of what's coming. And we're going to be there continuously, stirring the pot, starting drama, inflicting violence and pain on anyone that's in front of us. I'm very excited. I know Steph's excited. I know the fans are excited because they want to boo us and yell at us. And some of them, or, they may love us. That's their choice.
Yeah. And we've seen so much brutality in TNA over the years. I think it's the perfect place for someone like you to come in and like really sink their teeth into it. What is it about Sami Calahan that gets under your skin?
The way he smells, his breath, the way he looks, when he spits that snot and spit everywhere. I've known that man for years. I don't respect a lot of people, and I sure as hell don't respect him. But I fought him before, and he's fought me before. I'm excited for the TNA fans to see what old Mancer brings to the table. The ones that know, they know and they're ready for it. The ones that don't know, they're going to find out very quick. And once they find out, there ain't no stopping me.
Yeah. And Steph, I mean, for you, you were able, lovely to see that you kept the title in the divorce. I see it there on the fish tank. I'm curious how it felt for you returning to TNA and then also being able to be there front and center for Mance making his debut.
I mean, I love TNA, right? It's such a interesting place because I feel like it's a playground where if you are creative, if you have ideas, if you know who you are, you can succeed in TNA. So that's why I love it for me. Mance is very similar to me in a sense of we're always thinking of what's the next idea, what's the next thing we want to do, what do we want to promote. So I'm excited to bring him into the fold as well. It's a cool moment for me because a few months ago, I announced that I had to have neck surgery, and I've since had successful neck surgery. But being able to return to TNA in the same venue in San Antonio, which was where I kind of left off like 3 months earlier, that was a cool little full circle moment for me personally. And being able to come back and not just say, hey guys, I'm back, but hey guys, I'm back. And now I'm aligned with my real life boyfriend. I mean, I don't think I could write a better storyline for myself if I wanted to. So I'm very happy with what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, no, I agree. It was such a strong return. What did cause that injury originally? Because I remember you saying that you had to get surgery.
Yeah. So initially, I hurt my neck when I was actually at WWE at the PC. We were just practicing a Northern Lights suplex, which basically you just bridge straight backwards. But the technique that we were doing was different to what I had learned previously. And I basically just spiked my neck like straight on the mat and just felt it. And I was like, oh shit. And then, yeah, so from then on, the last few years, it's just slowly gotten worse. But yeah, it's just one of those things that you accept the risks of what we do when you step foot in the ring. And I'm just very thankful that I had access to literally the best surgeons in the world. Like WWE's neck surgeon did my neck surgery. So I've been in like the best hands possible. I've had great rehab. I've been taken care of so well. So even though it's a scary surgery to have, like I'm very thankful that I was in a position to be able to get such great care.
Yeah. Well, that's great to hear. And you couldn't have come back, both of you, Mance, your debut, and Steph return at a better time for TNA. Steph, how is it for you having been gone for these months and now coming back and seeing this changed landscape, especially with the crossovers we're now seeing with the WWE partnership and everything?
It's very exciting. I think there's always changes going on in wrestling, but now more so than ever, it feels like literally 1 week to the next week, we're in a completely different spot. So, I've been sent the calendar of dates that we have lined up at this point for the rest of the year for TNA. And even seeing what we've locked in so far is incredible, knowing that a whole bunch more stuff is going to get added as well. That's not even taking into consideration what sort of crossovers we're going to see with WWE moving forward. Personally and selfishly, I'm hoping that this Full Sail spot becomes a regular gig. So we'll see what happens moving forward with that. But yeah, it's even when I debuted in TNA in 2023 to where we are now in 2025, it feels like I'm working for a different company. So it's growing at a really rapid rate.
It's cool to see. For me, I've been a fan of TNA forever since it started, and to see the train, it just keeps picking up steam, and it's going, and especially with fans, you're seeing fans damn near every day on Twitter. There's a new dream card that a fan is making about, we want to see this TNA person against this NXT person. It's fun for the fans, it's fun for the workers, it's fun for everyone in the industry. You're pulling all this stuff together, and you could do whatever you want with it. I think the fans, you can see it from them. First of all, like, they're in, and if they're in, everyone's in.
Yeah, I mean, as a fan, it's so cool to see, like, so collaborative and, like, yeah, like you said, never know what to expect on either episode, NXT or TNA. Mance, for TNA fans who saw you debut and maybe not familiar with your work on the indies, I feel like you do have such an it factor, especially when you're able to get into that hardcore deathmatch style. What can fans expect when the Southern Psycho really gets let loose?
I would say violence, but then I got to break it down sometimes because people think, well, Mance is a deathmatch guy or a hardcore guy. I could get in there with no tools, no weapons, and we could just strike. The type of wrestling that I grew up loving is wrestling that makes you go, well, I know that the whole show, I get it, but that part was real. Terry Funk was real. Dusty Rhodes was real. Art Anderson was real. And for me, when I go to events, live events, fans always come up and go, yeah, when you hit him, when this happened, I'm happy to show the TNA fans that old Mancer could do it all. I could go out there, cut promos for you. I go out there, fight with him. I go out there, you want to throw some doors and tables and chairs and a screwdriver in there, I'll do that better than anyone. So for me, I've already got my fan base. People have seen things, but now it's time to level up. It's time to step in with new competition. It's time to show them old Mancer could do everything there is.
So we could definitely expect to see the screwdriver make an appearance at some
We'll
point.
see. We'll see. It's always in my boot, baby.
You got it right now?
Oh, it's in there, but I ain't going to show it for free.
No, of course I wouldn't expect you to. Well, speaking of that it factor, though, Steph, I feel like you're constantly looking to evolve your persona and grow it as well. Starting at the beginning, so once you leave WWE, when does the look that we see now that you become synonymous with, like, make its appearance? Like, how did you put all the pieces in there? Was that like a purposeful strategy to build this look?
It was to a degree. I mean, a lot of the stuff that I like how I look now is things that I've wanted to do for a long time, but I was fearful of, well, shit, if I get a face tattoo, but that doesn't go with the gimmick that WWE wants me to be, then maybe that could hinder my career. Or if you want to make a change, like if you want to change your hair, you have to get that approved by a whole bunch of people at WWE. And I was always thinking like, well, you know, if I'm going to do something like that, let's save that for a storyline beat where someone cuts my hair off or whatever. Obviously that never happened. So there were certain things that I've always wanted to do, but it wasn't until I got released, I took some time away from wrestling and I kind of started to regroup and go, all right, if I am going to kind of hit the ground running and start this metamorphosis of my career, what is going to be different? Like, what am I going to do that is going to be different from what Persia Pirotta was? And I always keep in my mind the saying, like, you eat with your eyes. Like when you see food that looks great, you want to eat it. When you see a person that looks interesting or attractive or whatever else, you want to engage with them. So for me, I've always kept to the forefront of my mind, like your appearance and the first visual when someone sees a photo of you or you make your entrance is so important. So I was like, all right, how do I make this as unique, as interesting as possible? And that's obviously where the bangs and the teeth gems and the face tattoo and all that stuff came into play. And I think you know, I think I'm probably the only micro brawler that has a face tattoo. You know what I mean? So I now have action figures that have all of my little quirks that are very unique to me. And every time a fan does a drawing of me, they've got the teeth gems, they've got the eyebrow piercings. Every time someone dresses up as me, they're drawing SDL on their face. So all of that stuff has kind of become synonymous with me as a character. So yeah, it was pretty methodical, but at the same time, it was all stuff that I'd been thinking about for a while.
And it definitely paid off. Yeah, I feel like before they even know your name or see any of your work, they know the look. But I love that eat with your eyes too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we just saw Mance debut. Starting all the way back with your debut, though, Steph, you were able to get in there with Jordynne Grace early on in your TNA career. And how was that being in there with Jordynne? Was there a lot of pressure making your debut against somebody like that?
I mean, yes and no. Like I've known Jordynne for a long time and I know what she does and I know the ins and the outs of her work, if that makes sense. And although she is very intimidating for a lot of people, I really enjoy like the physicality of getting to work with her in a sense of like, she beats the shit out of you and I beat the shit out of people. So like when she brings it, I can bring it back. And I think that creates for a lot more realism in wrestling than you see in a lot of wrestling, but also especially women's wrestling. So I enjoy like the harsh physicality of working with someone like Jordynne. As far as the pressure, I mean, I did feel pressure, but at the same time, I was, how do I put this? At that point, I was still in a situation where I was still quite freshly released from WWE. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do, where I wanted to be, what my end game was going to be. So I didn't feel this immense amount of pressure of like, wow, this is my last shot. Like this is it, or this is nothing. Like I just kind of felt like, cool, I'm going to have a couple of matches with girls that I've known for years. Hopefully I do well. I want to see what it's like working at TNA, and I had a great experience. So it wasn't this like really scary thing. It was more so just like another layer to my career.
Well, that's so cool that you were able to then face her. And what I heard you say was your biggest crowd ever at TNA Rebellion, to that point.
Yes. Yeah.
Those moments with her. With you two both being so creative, I feel like you're both so skilled in different aspects of wrestling, and it comes together perfectly, you and Mance. Does it make it easier being like a real life couple? Like, are you able to talk more about, what you're going to try out and things of that nature?
Yeah, I think so. Do you think?
Yeah, like at the end of the day, we have the same mindset on pretty much everything, not just pro wrestling, but especially in wrestling. I love old school stuff. She pulls from not just modern, but the time period where I'm always going to turn on something from the 80s. So if we both sit down and work on or, look at something and go, what about this, this, and this? We're taking two different things and stuff from the middle, throwing it together. And it's something, in my opinion, other people kind of lean towards just what they like. And you got to challenge yourself and kind of pull from everything. You may like this, this, and this, but then take something else and go, well, I kind of like that, but I don't know about it. Run with it and see where it goes. Together, we kind of workshop a lot of stuff that the end result's always great.
I think as well, like something that is very useful is we pull inspiration from other mediums as well. Like I don't really watch movies very much, but Mance loves to watch movies. So he pulls a lot of, character beats and inspiration from different movies. Whereas for me, I love music. I love hip hop. So I pull a lot of inspiration from hip hop. I love stand up comedy. So we both pull stuff from stand up comedy, even as far as like storytelling and figuring out how to manipulate the audience and, all of that kind of stuff. So I think it's useful as well to not just look at wrestling, but also see other forms of entertainment. And if you look at it with the right eye, you can see that almost every form of entertainment is similar to wrestling in one way or another.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with that because we've seen so many pieces be put into like all different areas of it too, from like, music or whatever type of pop culture you're talking about. And Steph, for you, so you're no stranger to coming out alongside somebody. Definitely, we've seen it throughout your career. One person I want to talk about who we've seen you do some stuff in TNA with is Matt Cardona. What are some of those big lessons do you think that you've learned from Matt so far in your career?
I've learned so much from Matt in a sense that like I feel like it just completely reinvented the way that I looked at wrestling as a whole. And I think a lot of my success can be attributed to that. I think one of the big ones straight off the bat is, again, appearances. Like you see him, he looks like an action figure. He looks amazing. He always has a great tan. His gear always looks incredible. I mean, like the idea of investing in yourself, even if you don't necessarily see that instant return, right? Like when we did the Ghostbusters entrance, he paid for the Ecto One. When we did the Jurassic Park entrance, he paid for the Jurassic Park Jeep. Like there are certain things that he had to foot the bill for that. Like he just had Downstate, his band that made his music, play for him at Hammerstein. Like sometimes you have to invest to present yourself like a TV star, even if you're on an independent level. So I think always having that understanding of like, well, if I can't control how I'm being booked, or if I can't control if I'm winning or losing this match, I can control how I carry myself. I can control how I look. I can control how I treat people. Like all of that kind of stuff, I think was really important. But then also as well with Matt, like probably one of the biggest things that has helped me is I got to stand there and watch him plan main event level matches with other WWE stars, other main event level talent every weekend. I got to stand there and listen to him plan matches with Chris Masters and Carlito and Jacob Fatu and Mance and people that are big names. And I just absorbed so much information of how to structure stuff correctly. And also, he would ask me like, hey, Steph, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? Do you have an idea for a finish of this? What's your idea? So he would let me come up with ideas that then he would do in his matches. So that also built my confidence of like, no, my ideas are good. I know what I'm talking about. Like I've learned enough about this to know how to structure a certain sequence correctly. Where before I worked with Matt, I mean, as a girl, the reality is there's not many times that we get to wrestle in main events. There's not many times that we get more than 8 to 10 minutes to have a match. So getting that experience of how to plan longer form main event title matches, I think was really valuable for me.
Yeah. Oh no, I love that, and I feel like it shows as we see you advance in your career. I want to definitely start to wind it down. I've heard you say, Steph, and maybe Mance, you do the same. You sit down at the beginning of every year and you plot out your goals for the year upcoming. Already entering 2025 strong as digital media champion. Steph, for you first, do you have any goals that you've set?
Yeah. So at the start of this year, obviously my number one goal was just to return to the ring healthy. Be able to get back in the ring, recover from my injuries, and kind of hit the ground running. But now that my recovery looks a lot further ahead than I thought it once was, once I get closer to getting back to the ring, I want to schedule some more like solid goals, but I just didn't want to put too much pressure on myself this year because I wanted to focus on the recovery. But right here, I can say within the next 12 months, I believe that I will be holding another championship in TNA, whether it's the Knockouts tag titles or the Knockouts World Championship. I think that's in my destiny. And I know that as long as I work hard and I play my cards correctly, that'll probably happen. What about you?
For me, TNA's always been a goal to get to. And once you get there, I'm not going to be a guy who gets there and then I'm just happy. Oh, I'm happy I'm here. Yeah, la, 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 all that bullshit. I'm at TNA. The next goal is I want to keep working. And then when people look at TNA, I want them to go, yeah, that's where Mance and Steph are. I want the fans to know, like, we're the people of TNA. And that means doing everything, not just in-ring work, but the promos, stuff on the internet, the meet and greets, all that stuff that when you're on the indie scene, there ain't a lot of that. You may do an interview, you may do promos, but that falls on. So for me, I've already been doing that stuff on my own. Now I'm at TNA. TNA is a place I grew up watching. I'm going to put all my hard work into that. To the end result is I climb that ladder and I'm the guy at TNA.
I love it. Well, thank you guys both so much. I can't wait to see what we do at Full Sail, the 20th and 21st, and of course beyond. But yeah, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Rewind, recap, relive. Whoa! That's what the world is watching.